This is amazing.
Whatever.
I used to think Saskatchewan was just like wheat fields and farms, but this is great. So peaceful.
Hello, fish! I know you're in there! Surrender yourselves!
What are you doing?
I'm trying to attract some fish. You know, this lake is supposed to be full of trout, but we've been sitting out here for, hours? And we haven't had a single bite. I totally know what to do. Where's the sonar? Ha! Trusty sonar. All right, fishies, there is nowhere to hide.
You know, I think you're missing the point of fishing, Jen. It's about peacefulness and relaxing.
Okay, well, not when you're as hungry as I am.
Okay, fine. We'll go in.
Thank you.
Now, where's the paddles?
Oh, no.
In this episode of CG Kids, we explore the wet wonders of Northern Saskatchewan.
We'll learn how to harvest wild rice with 14-year-old Bernard Rat. Then it's off to Prince Albert National Park of Canada to find out about the pros and cons of a forest fire. And we learn about wilderness survival.
In Jay's geology, I check out air pollution.
Wild rice, wildfires, and a wild man, all on this episode of CG Kids. Ouch!
Geographic Kids.
Jen, you might as well relax. We could be here for hours.
Bring snacks!
Just put it down. Put it down. We are on Morning Lake, and we're trying to head up to the northern half of Saskatchewan. Now, Morning Lake is just west of the main lake in the area, Lac L'Orange.
Now, l'orange comes from the French word for gnawing. Ranger. When the early voyageurs first ventured through this area, they gave it this name because there were so many beavers around. And as we all know, beavers love to gnaw and chew constantly.
Jen, what are you doing?
Do we have any beaver bait?
As you can see, Jennifer and Jamie are in an area of Saskatchewan that is an intricate waterway of rivers and lakes, all connected together. It's hard to believe that just south of them blows dry fields of wheat. Saskatchewan is sandwiched between the provinces of Manitoba and Alberta, in the heart of Canada's prairies. But the province itself is split between farms and semi-arid grasslands in the south, and the Great Boreal Forest in the north. Jennifer and Jamie are pretty much in the middle of Saskatchewan. Northern Saskatchewan has a lot of water, but it also has a lot of trees. More than half of Saskatchewan is covered by trees, and it's mainly boreal forest. This forest is a vast band of slow-growing evergreen trees, which covers most of the northern part of the world, and 34% of Canada. In fact, the boreal forest is the largest wilderness in the world. The province has an incredible mix of ecoregions that include the boreal forest, vast grassland prairies, and a stretch of taiga in the far north. Yet the province's name is derived from the Plains Nation word Kisaskatchewan, which means swiftly flowing river. Saskatchewan is sometimes called the land of 100,000 lakes and rivers. And for the people of northern Saskatchewan, the lakes and rivers have always been a major transportation route.
I'm so hungry. I think I actually may expire, Jamie. Listen to this.
Well, at least we have lots of water to drink.
We were supposed to meet Bernard Rat like 15 minutes ago. He's probably totally worried about us.
No, I'm not.
Did you say something?
No. Do you think we're actually starting to hallucinate?
Jamie and Jennifer!
Hey, you know our names. You must be Bernard.
Yeah, I am.
Good to meet you.
Bernard, we're so happy to see you. Can you take us back to shore?
Yeah, don't you think you might need your paddles?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
When you think of farms in Saskatchewan, you usually picture huge fields of wheat or oats stretching as far as the eye can see. But Bernard's family's farm is a little different. They harvest wild rice, which grows in the water.
Oh, you are incredible. I honestly thought we were gone. This is your farm?
Yeah, it's my farm.
How long has your family been actually harvesting rice?
For over 4 generations.
That's a long time.
4 generations. Has rice always grown in Canada?
Yeah, well, the Crees I've been harvesting for over, many years.
You must love hanging out here. What do you do around here for fun?
I like to fish, I like to quad, I like to boat, and I like to do water ski, and I like to swim.
So can you speak the Cree language?
Yeah, I speak the Cree language.
How do you say rice? That's pretty impressive. Is it hard harvesting this rice, or is it fun?
Yeah, it's fun, and there's a little bit of work involved too.
You know what I want to see is how did you do it way back when? How'd your grandpa do it?
Well, he used to use 2 sticks and hit the rice into the boat.
Bernard took me out in a canoe to show me how to harvest wild rice the traditional way. The rice grows in stands, with plants being on average 2.5 meters tall, with sometimes hundreds of grains of rice per plant. To harvest it, you knock it off the stand.
I try to grab as many as I could, and I just tapped them a little bit and knocked them into the boat, from side to side. Try to get almost every rice part I could get.
So how much rice would you get with this old-fashioned method?
Well, we only able to get about 1 bag a day. It takes pretty long because you're only doing small parts of the rice patch.
And how much would you get today?
With the new method of harvesting, we'd get about 150 bags a day.
So now that Jamie has done it the hard way, you're gonna let me do it the easy way?
Now I'm gonna show you how to do it the easy way.
So I can get on this boat with you. This is safe.
Yes, you can get on the boat.
Go!
Bernard is one of a few kids trained to drive a harvester airboat. It's a skill because these airboats are powered by a huge fan and have to travel at speeds between 16 to 23 kilometers an hour to properly harvest the rice and not destroy it. The trick is that there are no speedometers on the boat, so you have to know your speed simply by what feels right. The rice is collected by a big bucket attached to the front of the boat, like a bulldozer scoop, except it's made out of plastic mesh. The bucket collects a total of 90 kilograms of rice. When the bucket is full, the airboat heads back to the open water where a small barge is waiting.
So now that we got all of this rice into this thing, what's this called again? The scooper?
Called a bucket.
The bucket? How do you know if this rice is ready that you caught?
Well, the ready rice is dark.
And what would be one that wasn't ready? What would that one look like?
This one is not ready. It's because it flexes, and the darker one doesn't. It'll break off if you try to bend it.
So this one flexes.
Yeah, and then it'll break.
This is a snapper. This must take a long time.
No. Well, yeah, if you're like taking a little bit like that, it's gonna take forever.
Oh, really? So you think you could do it better than me there, Bernard?
Yeah.
Oh, Bernard, I am exhausted. That's hard work bagging that rice.
Yeah, very hard work.
Okay, this bag is moving.
What's wrong with this big one?
I don't know, but it's creepy. What is that?
What is that big?
You thing, get down!
Eldon, what are you doing here?
What I got here is truly wild rice. Behold the amazing rice. Bernard, when you take this bag off, you've got to hold on, okay?
Okay, to the rice?
Yeah, okay, you hold on. Oh, behold the amazing rice!
Okay, that is totally disgusting.
Wow, that's beautiful. This is the most modern of genetically engineered organisms. You hold on tight, because it will
Okay,
run
hold on
away.
tight. Well, where did it come from?
It came from a few things. It's a bit of shark, a bit of goat, a bit of rice.
What are you trying to accomplish here, Eldon, with this disaster?
Pretty soon, everybody will be eating this rice.
Well, everybody already eats it in North America, Europe, and Asia.
Yeah, it's one of the most popular foods in the world. It's like a staple in every bit of cooking in Asia.
Don't let it get away, Bernard. Don't. Oh, no.
Alright, let's
Oh, no,
go.
get it.
What did the tree say to the lumberjack?
I don't know, Jen. What did it say?
Leave me alone!
What animal can jump higher than a tree?
I don't know, Jamie. What animal?
Well, any animal, because trees can't jump!
You're so funny. I guess we better do the triviography question, though.
Okay, what are coniferous and deciduous?
Coniferous and deciduous?
And it's not a couple of Canada's early explorers.
And it's not some horrible, untreatable disease.
Ew, what are all those spots all over your face?
Oh no! I must have
Coniferous! Oh, or it could be deciduous!
Oh no!
Ew, don't touch me!
Don't go away! Come back for the answer. I'm not contagious.
We have traveled 160 kilometers south to Prince Albert National Park of Canada. Now, this is the largest park in Saskatchewan, and it smells incredible. Fresh air, clean water, and the scent of pine, spruce, and tamarack trees.
But sometimes the air has a slightly different smell to it. And it's not just Jen's wet shoes. Every spring and summer, approximately 10 to 15 forest fires break out in the park. In an average year, around 600 forest fires blaze in Saskatchewan, and between 7 to 10,000 burn throughout Canada. About 60% of these fires are caused by human activity. Lightning usually causes the rest. In places like this park, where there are very few people and even fewer roads, a forest fire can cause a lot of damage. And that's because fires in isolated areas like this are hard to detect and sometimes even harder to get to. But believe it or not, a forest fire can actually do some good for the park.
No, it can't. Forest fires aren't good.
Well, I find it hard to believe too, but that's why I have brought an expert here. This is Kevin Ferry, and he is a park warden here at Prince Albert National Park, and he is a forest fire expert.
Okay, hi Kevin, Mr. Expert. Is it true that forest fires can be good?
It's actually very true. In fact, the forest that we're standing in is a living example of that. This forest actually was shaped by fire in the very beginning. You can see the evidence on this tree stump where there's actually burn marks still on here from a fire over 80 years ago.
How is this feeding the soil?
As it slowly decomposes, the energy stored in the tree is actually released back into the soil.
This is new forest growth 4 months after a forest fire.
And here we have a forest 4 years after the fire. Isn't that right, my cute little Jack Pine?
He's almost as tall as you. So Kevin, what started the fire here?
Well, this fire actually started from a lightning strike after a thunderstorm.
A lightning strike did this?
Yes, it actually burned a long distance. But sometimes we actually start fires in the park.
Okay, wait a minute. You actually start forest fires?
Sometimes we'll do that.
Why?
Most of the forest that we've got in the park is getting fairly old now. And by creating man-made fires in there that we know we can control, we can actually clean up the forest and promote new plant growth.
So it's like the circle of life?
Exactly.
Say it.
The circle of life.
La la. That is really scary, Kevin. How do firefighters put something that big out?
Well, the firefighters, they'll go in with the hose and they'll be able to knock the fire back.
And how can you guarantee that it's completely out and there isn't a little ember burning somewhere?
Well, the firefighters, after they've got it out, at least as far as they can see, they'll take their gloves off and they'll go through and they'll check for hot spots using their hands.
Kevin, I am so sorry for not believing you. Fire can be good.
It is a good thing here in the national park. Thanks for coming out.
Well, thank you, and thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Keep up the good work.
All right, guys, do you remember the triviography question?
Oh, I do! What is coniferous and deciduous?
Coniferous.
Coniferous. This word refers to trees that have needles and cones rather than leaves. The word coniferous actually means cone-bearing. Deciduous. Now deciduous trees, like this maple tree, lose their leaves in the fall, and they usually have quite wide leaves. Trees can be divided into one of these two major groups. Coniferous trees can survive in some pretty harsh environmental conditions. The trees have adapted to the cold north by developing waxy needles that prevent moisture loss and flexible branches that bend rather than break under the weight of snow. They can also survive temperatures as low as -40 degrees by filling their cells with a type of antifreeze. Deciduous trees survive harsh winters by dropping their leaves and becoming dormant or inactive until the spring. And then they draw on their reserves of food energy to create blossoms or new leaves. Northern Saskatchewan has both deciduous and coniferous mixed together.
What is it about Saskatchewan? First we're stranded on a lake, and now we're lost in the woods.
Oh, I don't think it's Saskatchewan, Jen. I think it's us. But you know what? This book is going to tell us exactly what we need to do, okay? Step 1, set up camp and start a small fire in a safe place, of course.
Of course. Okay, 2 problems. No matches, no tent.
Oh, no. Okay, whoa. Okay, you know what we need? We need someone who is at home with the wilderness. We need someone who's an all-around survivalist.
I know exactly who to call.
Who?
Hello?
Hi, Franklin.
Yeah, it's Jenny and Jamie. Okay, we're totally
Lost. Could you help us?
I'll be right there.
Franklin.
Hi.
Oh, I'm so glad to see you.
I'm glad
How's
to
it
see
going,
you too.
Frank?
First of all, we were stranded on a lake, and now we are totally lost in the woods, and we're hungry and we're tired.
No problem. I got a base camp just a little ways from here, and I could go and cook you up something.
Franklin Carrier is a competitive survivalist and likes to pass his skills on to kids. He has competed in and won Saskatchewan's King Trapper competitions for 24 years. Franklin is well known throughout Northern Saskatchewan, especially for dancing the jig.
So what sort of skills do you need to be a king trapper, a professional trapper?
Well, one of the main things is that you have to be able to have the right equipment. I got my saw here, my axe, and I picked up dry wood.
So you're gonna teach us how to make a fire?
Okay.
When it's the middle of winter, finding kindling isn't easy. So Franklin showed us how to make our own. An axe can be handy for lighting a match if needed. It's important to make sure your fire is safely contained, such as surrounded by rocks and completely extinguished when you're done. Then you're ready to make Franklin's deep wood staple of bannock.
Always carry your flour. You could always stop and make bannock anywhere, even on the trail and the trap line. If you run out of bannock, remember you're 50 miles from the closest store.
That's your essential.
That's your essential. Your other essential is salt.
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 And lard.
Lard, definitely lard.
Baking powder?
Baking powder.
So is it ready?
It's ready. It's hot.
What happens if you want to eat some meat on the trail?
You could call moose in, or you could call any kind of game in. If you want a Canada goose, you have to call them in.
How do you call a Canadian goose?
And it goes like this.
Now, what about like a big animal, like a moose? That's the sound of a big moose for a big moose? Just like
Franklin, thank you so much. I really think that you've taught us a lot about the wilderness. I think we're going to be okay.
Well, thank you very much
We're
for
ready
coming.
for the wilderness.
You too. I hope you have a lot of fun going your way.
Yes.
Thank you, Franklin.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Boy, I don't know about these two. I don't think they're going to make it.
There's nothing like fresh forest air to clear your head and lungs, but sometimes the air isn't as clean as it seems. It may contain pollutants. While some of these are gases, others are very tiny solid or liquid particles made up of things like dust, soot, or pollen. These pollutants are called particulate matter. A few days ago, I set up an experiment out here to see just how clean the air is. I put a thin layer of petroleum jelly on this paper plate. I want to see what kind and how much of the airborne particulate matter has collected on its sticky surface. Gross. It's not as clean as I would have hoped. There are around 100 little particles stuck to the plate, so the pollution here is considered heavy. Air pollution is a serious problem. Pollutants can come from things like cars, factories, and pesticides, but they can also come from natural environmental sources like forest fires. Let's head to the lab to see what forest fires do to the air. Fire might pollute the air, but it actually needs the air to be able to burn. When a fire's used up all its surrounding air, it goes out. Like this. While forest fires are a natural part of the life cycle of a forest and can actually contribute to growth, they also give off more than just smoke. Forest fires emit about 16,000 tons of debris, like ash, soot, and cinder, into the atmosphere. Let's pretend that this group of wooden matches is a forest of trees, and suddenly lightning strikes the tree and sets it and any dry vegetation on fire. I've attached a coffee filter onto this cookie sheet in an area where it won't catch fire. I want to use the filter to catch particulate matter, like I did with my petroleum jelly. Fires also produce some invisible dangers. They emit both carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. When you inhale too much of these gases, they can make it very hard for your body to use oxygen, which of course is what you need to live. Let's take a look at my filter. These individual particles in the air are extremely small, but that is the problem. They can easily be inhaled and become lodged deep inside people's lungs, making it hard to breathe. I think it's time for me to get some fresh air.
A fantastic fact about Prince Albert National Park of Canada is that it is home to Canada's first solar-powered campground. The Narrows campground receives power from 64 separate solar panels. The electricity is used to power the campsite's water pumps and purification system. There is enough power left over to supply energy to the Narrows Marina. The solar power replaces a propane generator that used to release 70,000 kilograms of carbon dioxide each year. This makes the Narrows campsite a model for the usage of clean energy.
You know what? I have never felt so at peace and at one with nature.
I know, me too. I feel like I could handle any situation in the wilderness.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? They have really good burgers over there. Oh boy.
Okay, yeah, but you know what? We're outdoorsy people now, Jamie, and you know, we know how to make a fire and make bannock and...
It's true. It's true.
Could just grab a little snack for later.
No, let me think about that for a minute.
Wait!